What we're working on at the moment is this integration of the new CAMELOT tool. So CAMELOT is the Cochrane Qualitative Methodological Limitations tool. It's a new evidence-based tool for assessing the methodological strengths and limitations of primary qualitative research studies in a qualitative evidence synthesis. So Heather Muntekas, who's the lead within the CAMELOT team, she's also a member of the GRADE-CERQual project group. So it's been sort of a subgroup of the GRADE-CERQual project group working on developing the CAMELOT. And what they found is, despite so many tools for critical appraisal or assessing methodological limitations, despite how many are available out there were none that were an optimal fit with applying the GRADE-CERQual approach. So why is that important? Well, because as a precursor to applying the GRADE-CERQual approach, you need to have applied a critical appraisal tool to all of your included studies. And that's because you're going to refer to that when you assess the methodological limitations component of the GRADE-CERQual approach. So the CAMELOT tool has been designed specifically to be used with GRADE-CERQual. It's quite an innovative approach to critical appraisal because it's got sort of 4 meta domains and then research conduct and research design domains. And what you're actually looking at is the fit between one thing and the other, and noting if there are concerns around the fit between, for example, the research question the primary study has and the method they chose to study that question with, for example. So this brand new tool is just out, and we've been working close to the past year on developing a prototype for it. And I'm going to hand over to Camilo now. And Camilo, I'll let you share your screen. And Camilo is going to talk to you from Epistemonicus. He's going to talk to you about our approach to developing this tool within iSoQ.
Hello, everyone. Yes, thank you for the introduction, Megan. My name is Camilo. I work at the Epistemonicus Foundation. I am the Chief Technology Innovation Officer at the foundation, and of course, I am part of the developing team for the iSoQ tool, and now for the integration of CAMELOT into iSoQ. Well, as Megan said, this year we've been working on integrating this new tool, CAMELOT, into a platform which already exists, which is iSoQ. We, the Epistemonicus Foundations, are the software developers of iSoQ, of course, working with Megan. At the beginning of this year, we started talking about what would be this year's work. We were discussing about if it was feasible to have CAMELOT implemented by this year into the iSoQ platform. But we took this other way, which is developing a prototype for this year. This gives us more space and more time to conceptualize properly what we want to do with CAMELOT into iSoQ. And also, this was a decision that we made because at the beginning of the year, the CAMELOT research was still a very fresh thing and ongoing, and the GRADE-CERQual team was still working a lot with real researchers and conducting workshops and testing. So, yeah, that's most of the reasons why we decided to go ahead this year with a prototype and not with a development tool. Okay. So in this slide, I'm showing very briefly what the process looks like for developing the prototype this year. We started with the base pieces, which are the iSoQ tool, and of course, all the ongoing research with CAMELOT. Then we moved on to, pencil drawings and wireframes, and further on into more pretty and more real interfaces, the mockups. And by the end of the year, like from now on, probably, we are working mostly on making all these mockups interactive. The end product won't be the developed tool into iSoQ, but will be like a set of mockups that you can browse through, and you can go with the user as they use the platform. You can check the interactions, etc. All of this is just to have a very clear conceptualization of CAMELOT into iSoQ before starting the actual development. it's a very well-known thing that conducting this in this order, it makes it cheaper to develop the actual tool later on, because you can answer all the questions at this stage with mockups and with interactive mockups. Yeah. So the initial steps for tackling this problem was analyzing the current workflow that the user follows into the iSoQ tool, and identifying, of course, all the pieces where we have to make some kind of modification in order to implement the CAMELOT assessment tool. This was also supported by the ongoing research of the GRADE-CERQual team. They have first-hand feedback from the researchers that are going to use this tool. And of course, they had also some ideas in their minds about how this should work and how this should look. So what we did was taking all of that into consideration with, of course, the technology limitations that we may have. I have some of those explained here. For instance, as Megan mentioned, the iSoQ tool was developed 5 years ago, which in the internet is like 10 years ago because it moves very fast. So we are now seeing new trends on user experience that we have to take into account, because this is how the people will expect the platform to behave, just because the internet has moved to that stage, right? And of course, very, very important to mention, this is not a linear process. This is an iterative process. So we have many meetings and checking over all of the questions and all of the proposals. We try to make it iterative, like a spiral, like cycling, but moving forward, and avoiding like having a spaghetti of requests. So all of this feedback that I just showed you here, the drawings and all, that they are very valuable for us. Of course, I'm showing just a little example. This is the characteristics of studies table. At the top, we have some of the proposals of the GRADE-CERQual team. And on below, we have like a different options that we started creating just to see which one was the most appropriate. We are thinking about usability. We want to make it user-friendly. We were thinking also about the process that Megan just showed on the demo, that you have to import data, you have to edit. So we're thinking about all of that when designing a new tool, a new web tool, which is kind of different when you have it on the paper or on a spreadsheet. Okay. So yeah, in this case, we explored some alternatives. We went with option 3. It's very tiny here, but here we have it a little bit bigger. So we had some wireframes, which are like a more mature version of the hand drawings. And once we choose like the best options for us, we moved into mockups. These are closer and closer to the final format that iSoQ will have. But of course, these are only drawings. These are only mockups, okay? And of course, then we have to see how these changes fit into iSoQ. This is not only a visual thing. We're thinking about interactions and user flow. We're thinking about how you have nested information, because as you can see, iSoQ already provides you with a menu, with a submenu, and then you have a list of references. So you have to be very careful on the deepness of these layers of information. So we were taking all of that into consideration. Of course, this is only the characteristics of studies table. We have later on the step 4, the step 5, etc., etc. And we're working in parallel, following kind of the same process that I showed you before, moving from wireframes into mockups, and later on into interactive prototype. Okay, so at this stage of the year, we are already developing the interactive prototype. This is a set of mockups. We hope very, very close to the final product in terms of aesthetics and behavior. And what we want to explore is how the user flows through the tool by clicking on the actions that we provide. Okay. I think personally that it's very comfortable for us to explore all these options and to explore the different alternatives only on prototypes and on mockups, on wireframes, because doing all of this, actually developing the tool is very expensive, very slow, and it can be very complicated. So yeah, by the end of this year, we expect to have the interactive prototype of all of the behaviors of the Camelot integrated into iSoQ. And once we agree that this is what we want to do, then hopefully next year we will be implementing all of this into iSoQ.